Gordon is one of the top 100 motivational speakers in the United States, and I can't wait to hear him.
I'm actually not a motivational speaker. I'm one of the top leadership experts, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I became a top leadership expert. And I've run $100 million projects. I've run $200 million departments. I've led teams of 1,000. But it's not that that's made me an expert. What's made me an expert is learning from failure. And I have to say, I have a lot of failure that I've learned from. I remember my first $1 million project. What I remember most about it is the budget was only $200,000. So they weren't too keen when we spent that amount of money. And I remember, even when I thought I was going to be successful, I managed to find failure. And I was reminded of it when I heard the beautiful singing by Vanessa. And back when I was a student, my girlfriend, it was her 21st birthday. We hadn't been dating long, and a friend of mine was the manager at the biggest restaurant in town, so I could afford to take her there. We went there, and we ordered the meal, and while we were chatting, I asked her, what are your dreams, what are your ambitions? And she said to me, my number one dream in life is to sing with a jazz quartet. And right behind her, the restaurant has a jazz quartet getting their equipment out, and I'm thinking, I can make this happen. I can make her dream come true. So she goes to the ladies' room and called my friend over, the manager, and I said, look, can we make this happen? Janet's 21, it's a dream, and he said, don't worry about it. When you finish the main course, give me a nod, we'll get her up singing. So I'm eating the meal, it's the best meal ever. Such a romantic dinner, and I'm going to make a dream come true. And at the end of the main course, I think you can see where this is going. At the end of the main course, I give my friend a nod, and the band leader said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a young lady, she's 21 years of age, her dream is to sing with a jazz quartet. Give a big round of applause for Janet. And she's a little bit reluctant, but they give her a big cheer and she goes up, speaks to the band leader, turns and looks right at me, and she says, I'm going to sing, You Are the Sunshine of My Life. Now you might not notice because I'm stood on a box, but I'm actually only 5'6". And in that moment I felt like 12'6". It is without doubt the most romantic moment of my life. I'm with a beautiful girl in a beautiful restaurant, the music starts, she starts to sing. What could be more beautiful? Except that sing is probably too generous a word to use for the noise that came out of her mouth. It sounded like somebody was trying to strangle a cat underwater. And everybody, this wasn't a Tuesday night or a Monday night, this was a Saturday night. This place was packed with people, 10 deep at the bar. They're staring at her, they're staring at me, I'm staring at her, staring at them, trying to slide under the table. Needless to say, instead of a fantastic romantic evening, we skipped dessert, left in separate cabs, and I've never seen her or been to that restaurant ever again. And so I have a lot of experience with... You didn't hear us sing, honestly. I'm telling you. Worse. Has anybody played guitar here or a rock band and it tells you the percentage of notes you get? She hit 0. It was truly, truly awful. So I have a lot of experience with failure, and what failure has taught me is that we have 4 causes of failure. A lack of focus, we don't know what success looks like. A lack of accountability, we don't know who's going to do the work and we don't know how to hold them accountable. A lack of simplicity, we have a gargantuan tendency to overcomplicate things, and then a lack of transparency. We don't know what's involved. And I don't want to take up too much time, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about focus, because I was asked to try and talk about art, but I'm more of a sports guy than an art guy. I do not have one artistic bone in my body. But with focus is about what are we trying to do? Do we know what success looks like? And in art, if you don't know what it is you're trying to paint, you're never going to be successful at doing it. And a lot of time, we lose sight of what the goal is because we're under too much pressure. We just have to dive in and get things done. And when you're focused on the wrong job, doesn't matter how hard you work or how well you do it, you're going to end up as a failure. And I just want to tell you about the French rail system. Has anybody heard of the $150 million failure that they had? So France spent 15 billion on upgrading the trains. 300 of these trains were delivered ahead of schedule. Absolutely beautiful. Highly efficient, very fast. Just one issue. And if you want to guess what that one issue is? Did it work? No, they worked fine, apart from one problem. They will not pass through 1,800 of the 2,300 stations in France. They made the trains too big. They made the trains too big. They will not go to a port of the tunnels. They can't pass each other on the track. But these trains are beautiful. But this is what happens when you don't know what success looks like. If you look at my hands, you'll see I never did a day's work in my life. So I don't know how to fix that kind of thing. I don't think you can put sandpaper and kind of drive the train backwards and forwards to try and fix that. And when you do these kind of things, it has a big impact on your company. It has a big impact on your customers and also yourself. Because now it's going to take them 2 years to fix that. But also as a company, you know, the country France gets ridiculed. And if you don't think people in England were laughing their socks off when we heard about this, and the French even laughed about it themselves. They had a cartoon in the French daily newspaper that said, will the passengers on platform 2 please breathe in, your train is trying to pass. And then lastly, would you want to be the project manager who has to go to the president of France and say, sit down, because you're going to laugh when I tell you what we've done. You know, so these kind of failures, they can be career limiting, they cost a lot of money, and as I say, I have a fast approach, focus, accountability, simplicity, transparency, which if you improve your performance in those areas, it will help you be more successful. So if you want to find out more, just come and ask me. I'll be drinking with my wife over there. And thank you for your time.